Hello again, and welcome to another episode of 1001 by 1, where each week we take a film out of the book, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, discuss it, analyze it, and ultimately decide whether or not it should be in the book. My name is Adam St. John.
And I am Joey Rogate.
And before we discover a corpse by a waterway in Southern California in 2005 or possibly 1943, we will give you some recommends before we talk about Brick. You might notice that one of our co-hosts is not here. Joey, Britt's not here. Joey, do you know why Britt isn't here?
Because she's a nun.
Yes, because she's a nun. So yeah, she is performing. There is a thing, and I just want to bring you into the world a little bit of being a theater actor. So typically in the world of theater, Monday is always a dark night. So actors don't normally perform on Mondays, but sometimes they will do a special show on Mondays, and then they'll call it industry night because people in the biz are usually free Mondays because it's dark. Yes. So it's an industry night performance of, I believe she's doing The Man of La Mancha, which of course is a musical retelling of Don Quixote. And I wish her all the best. I did find out that a gal in the show with her was the lady who played Kat in the production of The Taming of the Shrew that I directed, and I didn't know that prior to. So Britt, you should tell Talina that that we know each other and stuff. And then now I'm getting this from Britt, so she could have put her Britt spin on this, but Britt said that Talina says hi and to tell you that you were the best director she ever had. To which I, of course, said, sure. I don't believe that, but that's very nice. Please say that I don't believe it at all, but what a very nice thing to say. So yes, Britt
that's very nice of her. That's awesome.
It's a nice thing to say. But Britt is performing, so it's just the two of us. One of these days, I'll have to not just be on one, so you and Britt can do this, because I've done this with Britt on Sideways and on Streetcar, but now it's just me and you talking about Brick. But before we get there, we got to do the normal recommend thing. So Joey, what are you bringing to the table today?
I'm going to be honest. I had a little trouble with this recommend because there's nothing really like this. I was also away for a couple days last week. So, I wasn't watching a lot of stuff. And then I thought of something and I was like, I think I recommended it before, but I didn't. I used it on a By 3 episode. So I think it's okay to do. And I'm going to recommend the 2018's Under the Silver Lake, directed and written by David Robert Mitchell and starring Andrew Garfield. Trying to figure things out in Hollywood. It's an awesome movie, really good. I think it would go well with this.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's trying to be a movie of a different era, but set in a contemporary setting. Right. That's so funny. That was a movie I started once because I think it was on Prime, or it still might be on Prime, and
it's on Prime, yeah.
Yeah, and I got like 25 minutes into it, and I remember thinking not for me, and I stopped it. And I came back to it like a year later, and I'm really glad I did because it is very absurd. You have to really just go into the world of it. You have to accept the world. And I think once it gets to the last third, either you're in or you're going to think this is trash. But I was in. I really do think it's a really fun movie. Fantastic. Under the Silver Lake, also from the guy who did It Follows.
I don't know. That's right. And yeah, he has something else coming out too. Mr. Rian Johnson. No, wrong. Rian Johnson's on what we're doing. I completely skipped ahead. Dumbass. David Robert Mitchell. It Follows. And he's doing the end of Oak Street at the end of the summer with Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, and it's like, did you see the trailer for this?
I have not. I've heard about it. I try to avoid, especially
awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to be good. But hell,
it looks cool.
My whole family's being converted. Both of my kids want to go see Backrooms, and I'm like, I think I'm raising them right. I think this is good. Yeah,
you're doing a good job. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. So I totally agree with you on the tonality of Brick. It is a certain kind of movie, so I kind of gave myself an easy out, and I watched a couple of Rian Johnson movies. I think I have two that I feel really good about recommending, but I went with the one that I haven't seen since I saw it, and I just got to go with the OG Knives Out.
Nice.
Watched it the other night with Melissa. Haven't seen it since it came out. Ana de Armas, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette, yada yada. I mean, just like it's a stat cast, just like most of the Glass Onion films are. Of course, Daniel Craig in this too, and
Keith Stanfield's over there.
Oh yeah, fucking Don Johnson is in it too. One of the weird kids from Stranger Things is in it.
Yep.
It's great. It's really fun. It's a whodunit. Clearly, Rian Johnson likes a movie where somebody has to figure something out. I mean, that is his MO. And, you know, I think the Glass Onion, I think the Knives Out movies have been kind of a roller coaster. I think Wake Up Dead Man was surprisingly good. Awesome. I thought Glass Onion was not very good at all. But
see, hey. I like Glass Onion too. I'm high on all three.
Well, there you go.
I loved Wake Up Dead Man. Yeah, but that's great. That's where I was going to go until I thought of Under the Silver Lake. But so I'm glad you did that. That's good.
But there you go. But we've got one movie that kind of matches the style and the location and the tone with Under the Silver Lake, and we're keeping it with Rian Johnson with Knives Out. Okay, so Brick. This movie came out in 2005. It is written and directed by Rian Johnson. So before we go any further, I want to stick with this for a second. So Joey, when did you first see Brick?
During COVID, you know, yeah. So Cole's 6. So Cole was born like 6 weeks before the whole world shut down for a while, and when he was maybe a couple months old, and you know, could actually focus on watching movies again and not just Impractical Jokers and like in Scrubs over and over and over. That was something I had heard of, so I wanted to check it out. So I watched it then for the first time.
Okay.
So 2020.
Yeah. So a little after the fact, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So this came out the year that I graduated high school, and Ian and I both graduated in the same year. And so my first year of college, I actually lived at home and I commuted. And Ian, classic Ian, was working at a video store where we lived. And it was one of those things where he was like, "Hey, have you heard of this movie Brick?" And I was like, "I have not heard of this movie Brick." And he was like, "You need to watch this movie." And I was like, "Sure." So I rented it and I watched it, and I was instantly hooked. And the high school of it all, I think, is going to be kind of a running topic conversation about this movie, because I had just left high school, and the idea of setting a movie, not in high school, but in a world where there were stakes and characters really like
big stakes,
really driving at something. I was like, this is really unique. And I might have seen one film noir in my life prior to that, like one traditional noir. And so I didn't get all the words, I didn't get all the references, but I knew that this was, I would even doing more than just homage. Like this was really trying to recreate a world that doesn't exist anymore. And just to bring in an off-topic conversation, because I think it's really I think pertinent to the my connection to this movie. One of the last times that Ian and I got together, we were talking about movies, because that's what we always did. And we were talking about movies that we watched in high school, and Brick came up. And Ian and I both considered ourselves budding filmmakers in high school. And he goes, I always thought that Brick was the kind of movie that we should have made. And I totally knew what he meant by that. Like something set in a familiar place, as like Rian Johnson shot this at his high school.
Right.
But like, so shooting what you know with people that you know, but like mysterious and like high stakes and kind of threatening. And like, I was like, yeah, this is kind of the movie that we probably would have made. So this movie has been with me since it came out, essentially. I mean, I was not at Sundance when it premiered or anything, but
no,
I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't there. Big bummer. But I want to talk about Rian Johnson too. So writer, director, and editor of Brick. So here are his movies, and this is not a long list. These are all the movies that he has done. So he starts with Brick, follows up with The Brothers Bloom, and then Looper, and then the big turning point in his career, which is The Last Jedi, which comes out in 2017.
The second best Star Wars movie, yes.
I don't disagree with that at all. And And then for the last, I mean, basically since 2019, he's been in the Knives Out, Glass Onion, and Wake Up Dead Man.
He did a TV show, right?
I think he did some
episodes. Or was he like a producer type thing and not?
Well, I thought he did some episodes of Breaking Bad. He might have directed a couple episodes. Okay. I'm just doing the feature film.
Just route. Movies. No, I'm just thinking because he's written stuff. Yeah. Okay.
But so I don't know. What are your overall Rian Johnson thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so I enjoy Looper, but I think that's, of the weaker end of his. I think it's a really cool filmography of, again, having the second best Star Wars movie. I know that's debated, but I truly think that. Like, I'm not doing a shtick. I like I said, I think the Knives Out movies are great. The fact that this is his first one doing something that, all the reasons you said, but also is in a different place. It's really unique way of going about things, and I think he's very successful at what he does. He doesn't overdo anything. I hope he makes Knives Out forever, but also some other things in there too, because I like when he does, because like the fact that Looper and Brick are so different, and they both have Joseph Gordon-Levitt in them, and really using Joseph Gordon-Levitt very well in both of them, I think.
Yeah, I want to talk more about him later, because I think well, it's a really cool point in Joseph Gordon-Levitt's career too. It's funny. Like I agree with you that it'd be cool to see him do something different, but also he clearly has found the avenue that he wants to be in, which is, we all don't get to be the Coen brothers and like have such an eclectic range of movies, like that's, I feel like, or like, I think maybe even a better example is Soderbergh. Soderbergh has made some of the most profitable commercial films of all time, and then makes movies that cost I'll trade you a pack of bubble gum for some cigarettes to make a movie. Like right. He's made movies 100%. For nothing. But Rian Johnson clearly likes a whodunit. He wants somebody to solve something. That like those are the movies he does. And so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. That seems to be the thing.
Yeah. Sorry. But he's also there, again, I know Glass Onion kind of results vary, but I think there's with the same kind of murder mystery type thing, they're three very different movies and now kind of adding Josh O'Connor. So now there's a second with him. I don't know, man. Agatha Christie made a whole career doing these, right? Like, why can't Rian Johnson? Now, I wouldn't hate if he took, maybe give a year between them, but I also think he does a really good job of putting really great cast together of very timely people, who are, right there, but with also people super established. People clearly want to work with him and do these movies, and Daniel Craig seems to be having a blast. So I hope Josh O'Connor keeps going.
I think one of the criticisms of Wake Up Dead Man that I didn't fully understand was that it was a waste of these people's talent. Like, your Glenn Closes, your Andrew Scotts, Jeremy Renner. Yeah. I'm going to forget everybody else who was in that movie because it's a big cast.
Really Spaney. People really go after.
But they would not have done it if they didn't want to do it.
Right.
And
they're part of building something. It's the kind of the group growth, not it's a different story being told. Like the people who needed to be developed a little more, were. And I think it all makes sense. And I think that's why that was successful. If every single person got a full arc, it would have been a 4-hour, very uninteresting movie.
For sure. Yeah, totally.
People just like to complain. But I like Rian Johnson. And again, the fact that he just hopped into a Star Wars and then they were going to give him a trilogy at some point, but then the super toxic Star Wars fans just kind of ruined that. I mean, why would anyone want to make anything in there at this point? But just he does cool stuff. Like the fact that the same guy who, like, if you're watching the Star Wars and then you see this, it's like the same guy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's, because there's more of a connection to this than Knives Out, right? Like dude figuring stuff out, but still very different. And the fact that, again, setting this in a high school it changes, it makes everything's different. It feels different. The vibes are different. Age them all up, same story, age them all up 5 years later. It's a very different movie.
Yeah. For sure. So you mentioned Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so let's get to the rest of the cast. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Brendan. Nora Zetner plays Laura. Lucas Haas plays the Pin. Noah Fleiss plays Tug. Matt O'Leary plays the Brain. Emily DeRaven plays Emily Kostich. Noah Segan plays Dode. Shaft himself, Richard Roundtree, plays Assistant Vice Principal Truman. Megan Good plays Kara, and Brian White as Brad Bramish. I think that's pretty much everybody.
Yeah, that's the important people who have kind of roles.
So Brick is not in the book. No Rian Johnson movie is in the book, which will make the last part of this conversation potentially interesting, depending on how we go. As far as awards go, it was really funny reading through the accolades that this was either up for or won, because there's a common theme in at least the titles of them. So like at the Sitges Catalonian Film Festival, he won the Citizen Kane Award for Best Directorial Revelation. At the Chicago Film Critics Association, he was up for the Most Promising Director. The Cognac Film Festival, he was up for the New Blood Award. And at Sundance, he won the Special Jury Prize for Originality of Vision. So there was a common theme of like, hey, this young whippersnapper, he's got something, and
he's doing something here, guys.
Yeah, and at least as far as like reviews go, even Ebert talked about that too. He quotes one of the characters in the Maltese Falcon. This is the end of Ebert's review. He goes, "The movie has one inevitable point of vulnerability because we can't believe in the characters. We can't care about their fates. They have lifestyles, not lives. The same can be said of many, not all, noir films, and it is because of style that we treasure them. The movie leaves me looking forward to the director's next film. We can say of Rian Johnson, as somebody once said about a dame named Bridget O'Shaughnessy, you're good. You're very good." So like right off the bat, he's got Ebert's stamp of approval right there.
It's great. It's so cool. Listen, people complain, when someone comes in doing this original idea, like you got to stand up and notice, especially for the budget he did it with. Got people talking. It's still, I don't understand Reddit, but when I was doing research for this movie, Reddit was all over the place. So it's still an active discussion there.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too. And I think I think I've forgotten the guy's name, so I apologize. But I think it's Andrew Patterson who wrote and directed The Vast of Night, which is also a movie that was made, contemporarily, but about that, and it's very much trying to play into the sci-fi paranoid thrillers of the 50s, and does so really well. And I mean, granted, we are much more removed from Brick than we are from Vast of Night, and Rian Johnson has made some commercially very successful movies. I don't think Andrew Patterson made another movie yet, but all that to say that, like, I think that when you see this vision initially, you really do want to try to call it out when you can and try to help bolster and amplify what that person can do.
Exactly. Do you know what Cowboy Bebop is?
So, my brother watched Cowboy Bebop. This is one point where, man, having Britt probably would have really helped.
I know, really would have helped and I tried to watch and be like, oh, that's where they really got his walk and his. I couldn't do it. Okay.
But listen,
it was very, very influential on this.
We recognize that it's a thing, and that if you are in the world of this thing, it is pivotal. I do understand that.
It's important. It's important. I appreciate it very much. Could not get into it. I apologize. But I think it should be stated that it is very important to this.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Joey, do you think this movie is on the IMDb Top 250?
I don't.
Okay. You are correct. It is not. Now, we have a recurring bit on the show, right, where I ask you where you think Joker is, and it usually hovers around the same spot, which is still where it is. It's at 90. It is surrounded by a fantastic movie, Singing in the Rain, at 89, and a movie I haven't seen, a very long movie I haven't seen called Once Upon a Time in America, which is a Sergio Leone film. I
haven't seen it either.
But now, Joey, so much time has passed. We have not recorded in a while. Now, I don't necessarily want your opinion on the movie that I'm about to mention. But coming in at number 87 on the IMDb Top 250, theoretically, the 250 best films of all time from everywhere. Coming in at number 87 is Project Hail Mary. What? Is there no buffer time for new movies? Like,
I mean, Project Hail Mary was in the the Letterboxd top 200 the first by Saturday.
A perfectly fine movie, but like, what are we talking about?
I mean, I loved Project Hail Mary very much. But yeah, I think something has to exist a little bit before we start entering. But I don't know how to code.
You heard it here first. Project Hail Mary, better than Singing in the Rain. You've heard it here officially first.
We said it.
This is some bullshit. Okay, Joey, I feel like this is going to be, as much as we miss Britt on the Cowboy Bebop stuff and just getting her just honestly lovely, wildly different opinions sometimes, I do get to ask you, Joey, do you like lists?
So much.
Oh,
so much. And any other answer is incorrect.
A total pro list pod tonight. So it took me a while to find the list I was kind of searching for, and leave it to the good folks at the British Film Institute to have created this list that I was looking for. So in 2020, they came up with a list of the 15 films representing the essence of film noir in the 21st century.
Wow, that's a great list.
Yeah. Most of these I've seen, and the ones that I haven't seen, quite honestly, are foreign films that I just have not gotten to yet. So we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to read the whole list of 15. Please interject whenever you'd like. Number 15, a Chinese film that came out in 2018 called Long Day's Journey into Night. It stole the title from a Eugene O'Neill play, but it is not that. Apparently, it is a noir of some kind.
I've heard good things, but I have not seen it. I've never even come across it, but I have heard of it.
Coming in at number 14, Steve McQueen's Widows.
Good
flick. I like it.
Yep.
Coming in at number 13, I wonder if you've seen this. Did you see Lynn Ramsey's You Were Never Really Here, starring Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, recently after the last Lynn Ramsey film last year, I watched it, and I thought it was good.
I liked it too. Cool. Yeah, well, I liked it.
Phoenix was awesome.
Yeah. Coming in at number 12 and previous episode of the show, Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive. Hell yeah,
banger. Yep.
Number 11, a British film from 2009 called Red Riding. The Year of Our Lord 1974. Quite honestly, no idea what's going on there.
Never heard of that. Don't know how many titles it has. I'm not even 100% sure of the title.
Yep. Red Riding, The Year of Our Lord 1974.
Feels like it should be a semicolon, but who am I?
Coming at number 10, a Turkish film called Three Monkeys. Again, have not seen that one. Nope. Coming in at number 9, and the only movie that I don't think should be on the list for quality, but I understand that it does represent the essence of noir, which is Brian De Palma's The Black Dahlia. Do you remember this movie?
So I saw it and I hated it. I don't remember it, but I remember really not liking it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Coming at number 8, a French film called Tell No One. So there you go. Maybe we got a couple of number 7, movie that I at least have talked about a few times on the show, A History of Violence, wonderful David Cronenberg film. Coming in at number 6, hyper stylized and definitely maligned in some way, but kind of a movie you couldn't avoid in the early 2000s. Sin City coming in at number 6.
I mean, it belongs on the list. I can't even imagine revisiting that movie, though. I watched it when it came out. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I can't imagine going, because haven't they made a couple others too?
There was at least
Sin
one.
City, Dark Knight or some bullshit.
A Dame to Kill. Funnily enough, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think, is in A Dame to Kill.
That's a good name, too.
There you go.
It's a good name. All right.
Number 5. and the reason why I brought this list up, Brick, which we'll talk about later. Number 4, a movie that we talked about on a director ranking, Collateral. I don't know if I would call that noir, but maybe it's still in some noir vibes there.
I think like the LA-ness of it all.
Sure.
Like the nighttime, like it's adjacent, but yeah. I think it fits. Like, I think it's good because I think that's a good movie to shout out for something like this. Like, I don't think I would have went there because I was trying to figure out what the tops were going to be, but I think it's fine.
So 3, 2, and 1. I'll be curious. Number 3, I haven't seen it, but it's from a director that we've talked about, and I don't know why I haven't seen it. So number 3, Jane Campion's In the Cut. I have not
never seen it.
Seen this.
I've never seen it.
I think I think it's Meg Ryan and Mark Ruffalo, but I have not seen this movie, so no idea.
Me neither.
Now, 2 and 1 are bangers, but I'll be curious to know if they fit your world. So number 2, our definitive favorite David Lynch film, Mulholland Drive.
I mean, what the hell is on top of this? Okay, I figured that was number 1.
So number 1, Memento.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I always forget what year Memento comes out. Cool. Great. All right, cool. 1 and 2. Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome. All right, cool. That's a good list.
So the 15 films representing the essence of film noir in the 21st century as created by the BFI. There you go.
Good job, BFI. Look at you guys.
They smart. Okay, so Brick, very succinctly, Brick follows the character Brendan, who is a high school student who basically receives a distressing phone call from his ex-girlfriend Emily, only to a few days later discover that she has been killed. Brendan finds himself kind of immersed in the both the upper crust of high school students, but also some of the more nefarious outsiders with great little nicknames like the Tug and Pin. And through the course of the movie, Brendan finds out that Emily was wrapped up with some less than reputable characters. Brendan tries to find out what happens, and just like a good noir, just when we think everything's been wrapped up at the end, of course, we have one great revelation that comes before the movie
so good
comes to an end. So Joey, I say Brick, where do you want to hop to first in talking about this movie?
I think one of the smartest decisions they made, because I think there's definitely a like a hard entry point into the language a little bit, that I think they do a good job of not letting everybody speak that much. Like, let Joseph Gordon-Levitt take it, let Laura take it, but everyone else kind of line here and there, because I do think, not everyone is Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Lucas Haas here who could kind of handle it. So yes. I think they made very smart choices about the utilization of the language with the characters.
Yeah, I agree. I think this movie is quite captivating visually, but I think when Joseph Gordon-Levitt is having the conversations with Lucas Haas, but more specifically, when Joseph Gordon-Levitt is having the conversations with the brain, I'm like, I want to hear these guys talk. I want to hear them plan what's going to happen. It's pretty captivating listening to them go through this 1940s-esque dialogue.
Yeah, it really is. And it's, like you said, with Lucas Haas, with the pin in the brain is where it's just, they are just cooking on all cylinders. And even if all the words don't match, you know exactly what's being said. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So there was one word in particular that I looked up because I think it got said a couple of times, and I didn't know what it was. And I had the I had the subtitles on because I was curious. And now I think the full quote. So there's a really great string of lines that Brendan says to the brain. He goes, "No, bulls would gum it. They'd flash their dusty standards at the wide eyes and probably find some yegg to pin, probably even the right one." And I was like, he says yegg a couple of times in the movies. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I looked it up, and apparently a yegg was a burglar or a safecracker, somebody easy to pin a crime on. And so I'm like, well, so it's great. Like, it doesn't just sound old. It is old. Like, there's nobody's out there saying yeg now. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's great because it really is being true to a period in time. And I think, between the little bit that I watched, interview wise with Rian Johnson and or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the recurring thing that I really liked was that nobody was winking. That was the common thing I kept reading. Nobody was winking. This wasn't like, do you get what we're doing? We're doing a noir thing. Like, they were taking it very seriously. And that's really what makes the movie work, is that they're stone dead serious.
I think if there was one wink in this, it kind of destroys the whole facade and it doesn't work, because then it just feels like everything's trying to be funny.
And part of Ebert's review is like, does everything make total sense? No. And, I'm a little confused on I think the Pin isn't a student. Not the Pin, Tug. Tug's not a student, right? Tug. And I think that's correct. But also, like, they're a little fast and loose with who goes where and who's doing what. But to me, Tug is a really interesting character because, like, I don't think the performance is great. But I knew one of the
worst walkers I've ever. Walking was a struggle.
Yes, I don't think he realized he had joints, like elbows and knees.
And wearing ski boots is a choice. But
yeah, very true. But he is a kind of person that I that went to my high school. Like, he is a kind of person who like just straight up didn't give a fuck about anything and was like, you look at me the wrong way and I will punch you in the face. I mean, there were just people like that in high school. And so as much as I find the performance to be stereotypical in its way, if we weren't in this world that is very much living in a noir world, then it doesn't work. If we're trying to tell the same story, but like just as a drama, oh man, this falls apart pretty fast.
Yeah, and Tug's such an interesting character because, you meet him, he punches him in the face. Then the next meeting is just the worst fast walk you've ever seen. It makes it made the guy from who's the clown from West Side Story, it's the worst running ever, like where it runs like he's wearing flippers. Ansel Jordan.
You mean in Ansel Elgort in Spielberg's version. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, I was like, wow, this guy makes Ansel Elgort look athletic. But by the end of the movie, I'm like, I'm with Tug. Like, really, it's just like because, like you said, because of the world this is in, and it's all so true to it, he becomes something much more than that guy. If this was Winky, it would have turned into some other 2005 bullshit where just nobody cares about him.
Well, and I think, I chuckled more than I remember chuckling before watching this movie. And like, his walk is funny when he threatens Brendan with the pitcher that's like a rooster or something.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Hysterical.
I mean, even cutting away to a mom feeding these three like badasses is pretty funny. And it's like, we need those moments to pull us out to go, theoretically, these are kids. Like, I understand that the Pin is a little older,
except
but
the Pin, he's 26,
yes,
right?
But it's funny to see it all kind of play out that way. Yeah.
And I also like that there's two adults in this movie.
Yeah.
There's the vice principal, who's out of control, and just Tug's mom just kind of showing up, giving breakfast. Like, it's really funny how they use them. Like, because the vice principal, we get into the past a little bit, which, to be completely honest, that's where I care the least about Jer. Like,
yeah.
It just doesn't do anything for me. Like, I understand what they're doing, but like, whatever, I don't care. The mom, though, is great because it's like, oh my God, right. They have like gym class tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's funny.
Well, and it did remind me, like, I mean, I don't remember not going to school as much as apparently Brendan just doesn't go to school.
Just doesn't go.
Which is a choice. But like, I remember like my junior and senior year of high school, between doing theater, which I did, and also like having a job. Like, I worked 24, 26 hours a week.
Yeah, same.
Like, it was just so funny. Like, I guess I never thought about, like, I just kind of came and went from home. Like, I'd get home from like rehearsal at like 6 and my mom would go, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, "Good, homework. See, I'll talk to you in 2 days." Like, I just didn't really see my parents. And so this movie did make me reflect on like high school and just like, obviously, like I went to class, but like when you're 17, you're going from, school to your work and hanging out with your friends. It all seems like the most important pivotal thing in your life because it is. That's all you have. That's your only frame of reference is those things. So it was funny to go back.
I went to class. I was always there, so it was very funny to see him just be like, "All right, I'm leaving," and like eating lunch like behind in some weird place. Like, because when at first he's like, "She knows where I eat lunch." I was like, "What does he go to a diner every day?" So the fact that it was just some like back lot was hysterical to me.
A diner would have been great. That would have been fantastic.
The Mulholland Drive diner. Come on.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's where somewhere Dode would hang out.
Okay. Dode is not good.
I disagree.
I did not like Dode at all.
So this time Dode worked for me. In the past, he's been my biggest like what's going on with Dode. Now listen, I understand why Dode is not getting cast in The Odyssey. I understand. But like Dode deserves better. Dode deserves. I like him in this. Now, like he's grown on me because he's such a, it has one of the Brendan, the first time he beats him up when he's talking about like he's the only one who slept and he has, when he's like going to fight 5 guys, like that's a funny line. But Dode's such an interesting character because he's just pathetic and has no idea he's pathetic. So I just I'm slightly rooting for him more than he probably deserves.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought I had that line because it's so good.
It's awesome. Where is it? I got it. Okay, throw one at me if you want. Hashhead. I've got all 5 senses, and I slept last night. That puts me 6 up on the lot of you.
Yeah. That's a great line. That's so
Humphrey
great.
Bogart couldn't do it better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do understand. Like Tug is very one-dimensional, but Dode is a round character. I think, Dode presents as sort of this antagonistic, like somebody who's hurting Emily and doing all that stuff. But I do think that actually like Dode's intentions are good and that, he is actually in a way trying to do something that Brendan is doing, which is to kind of keep her safe and get her out of the situation.
He's just too chaotic a person to do it.
Yeah.
He's the other end of Brendan. He's the one who takes the fall where Brendan's the one who sets up someone for the fall. So he's the other end of that spectrum.
I will say, and I don't like, there isn't really like an award that I have like for this person because, we're limited on the awards that we give out here on 1001 by 1. I really liked Nora Zetner as Laura. I thought she
was awesome.
Yeah, I thought she played the cool, calm femme fatale like really well.
But also like a high school kid, like a very popular high school kid. Like it was, if they cast her out of Mean Girls to do this and put her into this, like I believed it. Like I think she did really good. I liked how she was in and out. Really good use of her. I thought she was awesome.
Yeah. And there's a way that she kind of holds herself and collects herself. I mean, even throughout, like even when she, theoretically she's got the upper hand for most of the movie, but even the way that she kind of leaves, like she theoretically loses at the end, and we'll talk about that in a second. But like, but even how she exits, it's like she's still kind of like she gets to say the one last thing, and then she leaves. But yeah, really, just a really solid performance from her. I wanted to just kind of shout her out a little bit.
Yeah, and that could have been, because so much of the focus was on Brendan. I think that was really good casting. I think she was great.
Well, and I think the other thing that you'll learn about this movie, if you do even the minimal amount of research, is that this movie was made for fucking nothing. I mean, Rian Johnson is getting money from family and wherever he can.
Parents paid for it.
Yeah. The number that I saw was $450,000 to make this movie. And it made almost $4 million, which Now, yes, to say that a movie made $4 million just on its own, in most cases, is not good. But that is a substantial return on investment. And
yeah, I mean, that's unbelievable.
And really does, and shows us that we are in the hands of a filmmaker who has a style to what he wants to do. But I thought what was interesting, I didn't know this until I watched an interview with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt shot this and Mysterious Skin in the same year. So these movies shot in 2003. They both released in 2005, and they both premiered at Sundance. And, I didn't know this. I was watching this interview with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he goes, it was a big transition for me because these were the kind of movies that I wanted to be making, were these Sundance films. And he took a big pause, and he wasn't sure how to say it, but he goes like, but I was kind of embarrassed by everything else that I had done. He goes, now, like, I am grateful for Angels in the Outfield, and I am very grateful for Third Rock from the Sun. And then he takes a big pause, and he goes, I am a little embarrassed about 10 Things I Hate About You. And he didn't really explain what he meant, I think, other than implying that those were not the kinds of things that he wanted to be doing.
He wanted to, yeah.
Yes. And so he picks these two gritty, independent, very different performances, and like really showcases that he has tremendous range. I don't think he he never really got I think the right role after, small role in Inception. He does Looper. I think he tried to, he directed and was in Don John, but like, he just never really.
And that hurt him. He's like 50-50, I think is a good movie.
I agree.
Solid.
I love 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah. 500 Days of Summer is great. I think The Night Before is really good. And I think he's the emotional weight of that movie. And I think it's a really good movie. I watch it every Christmas. And then he just kind of, he did that, what was that? That tightrope walking movie.
The Walk.
He did.
Yes.
The Walk, right? Fucking idiot. And then, he's Jiminy Cricket in the Pinocchio movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Then he just kind of, I don't even know what else he did.
So I didn't.
He just kind of stopped doing stuff.
So I didn't see. So I only know this because I think he was in the promo stuff, but he was in the Axel Foley Netflix Beverly Hills Cop movie.
He was, but I didn't see the movie. He was a detective that was like, "Oh, you were this, okay," and pulled his record because that clip was all over TikTok. I don't know if him as Robin in The Dark Knight was ever supposed to be anything.
Yeah.
I think he's fine there. I don't know that that's the best use of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I like, I do. And, I know he's doing some movie now that I think he's directing and starring in, some anti-AI movie. So, I forget who the cast was, but it was solid cast. So,
yeah,
I've always liked him, but I also liked him in Angels in the Outfield. And, as we just released on YouTube, fucking love 10 Things I Hate About You. So,
I mean, yeah, I do too.
So, I've always liked him. I think I've only seen a handful of episodes of Third Rock from the Sun, so I can't really comment on that.
Oh, but, that was a staple for I mean, and I would say it's an above average sitcom. The premises, of course, really silly.
In it can't be bad.
But that's the thing is I think every John Lithgow, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, French Stewart, and I think it's Kirsten Johnston.
Yeah,
they're they know exactly, again, there's no winking. It's just to bring it that terminology, they knew what they were doing. I thought it worked really well, but
yeah,
whatever.
But I also understand wanting to do something, right? And if you are looking at things like Brick and Mysterious Skin, that's a completely different end of the spectrum than, doing this for the Angels. And,
for sure. Yeah.
Pretending that McConaughey could play baseball. Adrian Brody was out there. Come on.
Say too.
But listen, he was also a kid. So what is, he's a very, he also was a kid actor who seems to be a functional adult, which we don't always get. So I also think there's a success in that I think, I don't know much about his life. Maybe he's a complete disaster, but he appears to have become a functional adult from everything I've seen. Because listen, you see him every once in a while. You'll see him pop up talking at Congress.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yes, yeah.
like he's involved in things. I think he's just I think Don John broke him a little bit because he put a lot into that and it just wasn't very good.
No, and I do think, because I think he is a thoughtful person, and I think that
Yes, I agree.
he thought that Don John was going to get at something about the way that, the way in which we as humans, we covet, we want the most beautiful, the best, that we think that once we have it, we're going to have all we want. And then the whole thing is that, Scarlett Johansson is gorgeous. He gets her and it's like, oh, it's not that great. So I get it. It fell flat. And I don't even think it's a bad movie. It just is not as revelatory as he probably wanted it to be.
Right. It just is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it has the weight of what he wants, because I do think he's a thoughtful dude. And, listen, he got Tony Danza in there, Brie Larson's in there. Like, he got people involved. It didn't 100% work. And I wish he kind of kept going that path a little bit. But, I think it fucked him up a little bit when it just didn't go. Super likable guy. Good actor.
Yeah.
And again, 500 Days of Summer, I think he's really good in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that actually is my favorite of his performances.
Night Before is mine, but I'm fine with that.
So as far as like plot stuff goes, so obviously we when the movie starts, we see the dead body, we see 2 days previous, but I will say the movie doesn't do the thing that I really, really hate, which is when we see 2 days previous, but then what we saw at the beginning is the actual end of the movie. The revelation of her body is only like 25 minutes into the movie. So there's still a ton of stuff. And I always appreciate this in movies where when one objective cannot be accomplished for reasons that are beyond the character's control, they don't stop. It creates the next objective. So he wants to protect Emily. He can't. So of course the next logical step is, what happened to Emily? And
avenge Emily.
Yes. And he takes it so seriously and he gets the brain's assistance. And so I think that all works really well. I'm wondering, again, spoiler alerts for a movie that's over 20 years old. The revelation that Em was pregnant, right? And that it clearly has an effect on Tug the movie takes a giant turn when Tug shoots Dode just point blank in the head.
Which shot of the movie, them in the tunnel, the Pin and Brendan in the back, and Tug standing there, and Dode with the blood and then the smoke from the things coming out. Just fantastic shot.
Yes. And obviously it takes a turn, but I guess, my question's two-part. The first question is, do we feel like, did Em need to be pregnant in order to make the plot any more complicated? Does it work for you? Does it not? How do you think about that?
I wasn't like, oh, and I think Tug was developed enough as a loose cannon. We could have gotten there without it, but I guess it was mostly to kind of throw Dode off the deep end. So I guess, for that reason alone, because you needed to get Dode into the water tunnel with them and to have a reason for the Pin to go there. Because I do really I think Dode's best scene is him and Brendan on the field walking to it when Brendan tries to stop him. I think that's by far Dode's best scene. So, and that's the reveal of her being pregnant. So I guess it couldn't just be that she died. There had to be something else to make an unstable character kind of, because he's, like you said, he's also trying to avenge, so they needed something to be there. So I think it was more for Dode than for Tug. But I think the movie thought it was more for Tug.
Yeah. And then, so at the very, very end, when, it's Laura, right? When Laura tells Brendan how far into the pregnancy Em was, basically implying that Brendan was most likely the father. Is that a reveal, or is it too obvious too early that it's most likely Brendan who's the dad? Does that all pan out? How do you feel about that?
It didn't matter to me.
Okay.
Like either, like I think, because in my mind, I also wasn't sure if it was just, you couldn't trust Laura, so I didn't even know if what it was just a distraction technique anyway. So it was just kind of a nothing burger for me.
Okay. I do like the little visual clue of the blue arrow on the cigarette that links
Very cool.
Laura back to the car at the opening of the movie. And that's the thing too. There are some great cutaways in this. The close up of the blue arrow. There's a really cool, I mean, one of my favorites is when Brendan is being chased by that random dude and the knife swipes his jacket and you see the white stuffing come out.
Yep. Very cool.
Fucking really good cutaway. And there's a plethora of shots like that. Yeah. In the movie. Yeah.
And and then they also don't use cutaways sometimes when Brendan does like the slide and then kicks the guy and send him head first. Like they keep the camera on Brendan instead of the guy. And that was a cool choice too. This movie's really well put together.
Yes.
It's pretty impressive, the fact that it is. And I love the scene when Brendan, after he sees that Laura has the blue cigarettes and he asks Tug, "Oh, can I have a cigarette? I don't smoke. I've seen you smoke, not cigarettes." Like, yeah, such a cool moment where it's like, Rian Johnson.
Well, yeah, and it shows that I think what with a character like Brendan, what he needs to be is he can't obviously be the strongest guy, and he can't obviously be the smartest guy. But he has to be the most capable. He has to be the most intuitive person. And so, when we see him use his wits to like find that out without overtly being like, I know, like
tipping his hand.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And you mentioned that scene where he slides and he is able to, incapacitate that guy. When he's able to beat Brad Bramish by constantly going for the shin, which fucking looked so painful.
So painful.
That just looked brutal. But and also willing to this is not my favorite shot, but because there's a ton of favorite shots in this. But when Tug goes to scare him in the car by driving by him, and the close up of the car driving past his hand, there's clearly a, I wish I had a better phrase of this, and I don't give a fuck level that Brendan has reached with his character. He's like, I don't, either you're going to kill me with your car and you are more of a loose cannon than I thought, or I'm going to prove myself by not moving. And he proved himself, which is great. And there's a lot of those tests of will that Brendan has to go through throughout the movie.
And the first time he meets the pin, there's just so many different things.
Yeah.
I like that word. You're right. He's the most capable, which matters. That's good.
Flipping through my stuff here. So, can you remind me of your favorite shot? You said it was when they shot Dode. Is that what you said?
I just think it's really just with the tunnel, the way it's framed with the water, and it's Tug in the forefront, Tug and Dode in the forefront, then the pin on the back behind Dode, Brendan throwing up on this side, and then the blood and then the smoke. At dusk, it's really great shot. A lot of great shots, but that one really stood out.
I'm kind of cheating. I'm doing two kind of, but they're connected immediately together. So I love the shot of it. Brendan is looking at the slip of paper that has the arch on it that looks kind of like an A. And that's in focus, and the clock behind him that says 11:59 is out of focus. And we're pushing in. As we push in, we then cut away to the shot of the black fabric coming over M as it's moving away from the tunnel, and then it comes back over. Both of those shots together are fucking fantastic. Just great. Just great stuff.
Yeah, no argument there.
What about favorite scene, moment of the movie?
I had trouble with this because most of them, but I think what I'm going to go with is the first meeting of Brendan and the pin. So I think probably the meetup for fake peace that Brendan manipulates at the end is probably a better scene, but I just love because there's the build up to the pin and then meeting the pin when his back's to Brendan. And then Laura kind of comes in at the end as he's passing out. Like, I think that's a great scene.
Yeah, that was really, really close for me. But I went a totally different route where it's less about the dialogue and it's more about that Brendan kind of proving his worth. And it is like the fight with Tug. It includes the bad walk, which I think is very funny.
Very important.
But like that's really the moment where, clearly Brad Bramish wasn't like this overt obstacle that he thought he was going to be. And clearly, dude, if you're not starting, you're not good enough. So we could end that conversation right now. Right. But I like the scene because there's a lot of nifty choreography and blocking with the camera and how they fought, but it does also includes that really cool shot of the car going by. Shot. And then I love he comes back up. He's like
first punch when Tug comes around, like the sped up camera, like that's a really cool shot.
Yeah. Well, and throughout the way in which Johnson is able to capture like the on-screen violence, it's all done in these interesting like close-ups, but the violence is like when when Brendan like punch slaps the joint out of Dode's mouth early on, we close up, like it's a quick close-up on the hit, and then we're away from it. And so the violence is rarely like two people on screen, like I'm gonna punch you and you're gonna see it. Like when we do that little close-up on the hit, it almost makes it less violent because we don't really see the full connection of it.
You never have your footing with you don't have your footing with it. It's just going. Yeah, I agree. It's cool. It's very well shot. It's very clever. It's very smart that they don't have to then worry about like, oh, how do we make the blood? Like they're always making it move, and you can see the reactions to it, which is cool. But even in that scene you're talking about, even just Brendan just holding the
the cinder block
over it has Tug just terrible fast walks, ski boots, just trying his best.
It's like. And I know it's a character choice, but like jokingly, I want to go like, dude, if you recognize that you had knees, you'd get there faster. You just would.
You would just save so much time if you just bent your knee.
Yeah.
Just loosen up the hips a little bit. Straight knees the whole way. Just is not moving your arms a little bit faster than your legs. It doesn't. It also made him look very short.
Yeah. It did. Well, then
they probably like
they put Lucas Haas in those orthopedic shoes, who now looks even taller too. So it's like, yeah, he looks pretty small.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's probably an average sized guy, but Lucas Haas and then just the terrible walk and whatever they did to him, he just at one point I was like, was he like 2 feet tall?
Yeah. Okay. Unsung hero.
So I went with Lucas Haas here.
Okay.
Who, yeah, I'd only seen this once, maybe probably twice, realistically, but like the second time, like saw parts of it. Lucas Haas, he has such a distinct look, but I don't always love him in things. I think he's really good in this. I like him. It's a ridiculous character. It's not someone, it's like no one's rooting for this. Like you just can't root for the 26-year-old guy who's trying to start a mob empire in a high school. So like he's just a loser, and wearing a cape. Like he's wearing a cape. He's wearing a cape, right? He's a 26-year-old guy hanging out with 16-year-olds wearing a cape. It's tough, and you know what? Lucas Haas pulls it off.
It's funny. The age difference wasn't as stark, but I will say so. Growing up, there was a guy who lived next door to me who I won't say his name, but he's dead, but I just don't want to, whatever. But yeah, he was 7 years older than me. So I vividly remember being in 8th grade, and he would have been 21, 22. And he had an interesting past, so he still lived with his parents, but he was having a party one night and I was just around, and he goes, "Do you want to come to this party?" And I was like, I'm like 13. I'm like, fucking A, I want to go to this party. So I go to my first like adult party, and I see things that like, I'm like, there's no way I should be seeing this. Like it was like 13-year-old boys, like, wow, this is what parties look like. I can now look back at that whole situation and go, like, I thought I was pretty cool, but how much of a loser was he for having me there? Like that's an odd move. A 10-year age difference is, and building a drug kingpin of some kind is a wild character choice. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, listen, unfortunately we all knew that guy. Most of the time that guy was the guy that was like, oh, you're 16. Oh, you're dating a 27-year-old guy. Oh, and you're 16. Oh yeah, no, that's terrible. No, he's the worst. There was this girl who went to my high school. Like, we went to Disney senior year. I remember this guy like went to Florida and would just like show up around the hotel, and he showed up. And man, no, I hope he's in jail. That's all I have to say about that.
Fair enough.
He deserves it. He deserves it. That's all I know. I know she's not with him.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
So I had two written down, and one of mine was a performance. So I'm going to go with the non-performance. And it's funny, I think I did this for Crash, but I got to do it here too. I'm going with Rian Johnson's cousin, Nathan Johnson's score.
Great score.
I really dug the music. And the riff on that main theme was really cool. And then it's really not until we meet the pin that we start to get that jazzy 40s noir type score. It's kind of all over the place, but it's really effective. I really dug it.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good one. It's cool. It's unique, and it feels very of the movie. Like, it doesn't feel. It feels like a contemporary looking at the past. It doesn't feel like it was pulled from something in the 40s.
Correct. Yes, I agree. Well, and that's which is so funny because like I was thinking, because I when I was looking for a list, I try to focus on noirs that weren't like made in the 40s, and like the two that kept coming up were our all-time classics. But it was Chinatown
Memento
and L.A.
Mulholland
Confidential.
Drive. Oh, Chinatown.
Well, but
Okay.
more period set, but contemporarily made. And yes, and there is something about, when you can make a noir outside of the Hays Code, so now we can have all of the violence and the swearing and the nudity that we couldn't get in the 40s, but we can do it with Roman Polanski and we can do it with Curtis Hanson. Great. And like, honestly, what we did LA Confidential, that movie fucking rocks.
Truly.
But this movie, but this one is obviously so different because it's set here and now, and it's pulling tropes from the time. But like, despite the fact that somebody gets their head blown off, there's no nudity. There's like no swearing, and it's a fairly tame movie. And I think honestly, if you do like a cutaway for the Dode getting killed, you've actually got an almost Hays Code appropriate noir
100%.
made in 2005, which is just all those little things together just make it so much more interesting and unique, and shows that Rian had really done all this work. I mean, and I think it shows the level of craft and skill that he brings, because he had the script and then he basically made it like a novella. Like, he basically played out, like, wrote, and he had hit all of this. And so when you've got, 8 years of trying to make a movie, you've got the time to flesh all that out. And so, yes, maybe he was on a budget and maybe he couldn't get everything exactly the way that he wanted it. But when you see what's on screen, it's pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty great. Yeah. It's tough. Like, so I was looking at Letterboxd and I was trying to read like what people who didn't like it.
Yeah.
And, just to kind of see like none of the reviews that I found, I mean, I didn't go too deep because I was just like, oh, okay. So it just didn't work. Like there's nothing like structural about it that people were complaining about. It's just like, not for me. I don't like noir. Okay. And that's fine.
And I think that's interesting, because I think you're going to get that style over substance thing, right? Where it's like, it's all style, but the plot is whatever. But again, and what I appreciate about Ebert's review is that he calls out that like basically the plot isn't perfect, but also like, I think actually, hold on. because he references The Big Sleep, I think. And I really want to be able to find this because I thought it was great that he talked about it. and I'm not going to be able to find it. But anyway, he references The Big Sleep and basically says like the plot hinges on a murder done by somebody who is already dead, right? And like that's the thing is some noir plots are preposterous. They're silly. They're really really dumb.
Yes.
And like they kind of have to be to hook you in, right? I mean, it's not like a true noir, but like Laura hinges on that, right? Like
100%.
we have to expect these things, like, you know, and even though it's and like totally switching gears, but like it's not a noir, but like Diabolique is fantastic. But the whole time the guy is pretending to be dead. I mean, that's basically what's happening. So yes, some of the best stories have to have silly premises because it makes for really compelling stakes and performances.
And when they work, it works. And listen, I know it's like, and if not everything, but I don't know. I just think everything put down here like works. And even the things that are a little confusing or not all the way there, like I think everything's just so interesting. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt is so good that it works.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Is the brain real, Adam?
I saw that. I mean, so I understand it as a theory, but like, how would, I mean, I do feel like the brain does give Joseph Gordon-Levitt tangible things, like notes from people.
That's why I think he's real too. There's actual things, and it's not just, if it was all just trying to talk it out, I could get behind it. But the fact that he's like, no, this is this, and here's this note, and this, I think he's real. I think it's a really cool talking point, though, especially the way it kind of shifts perspective at the end, and he walks behind him. I think that's very cool.
The last time we see the brain, is like the closest it gets to emphasizing that could be the case. But I think most of the stuff beforehand, I would say, kind of refutes that. But
I agree with you. Let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
So the brain, very much in line delivery, reminded me of Dylan O'Brien. And I think if this was like made now, just the way like he kind of delivered it, I think Dylan O'Brien, I think he's a little older now, but I think he'd be awesome as the lead of this too. I really like Dylan O'Brien, but like the brain made, just the way he delivered, I was like, oh, that sounds like Dylan O'Brien, who's probably 7 years old when this came out, but whatever.
Yeah,
that doesn't matter. But I don't know. That just had me thinking about making it now, and I was like, oh, they'd probably be in the lead and it'd be awesome in it. But man, I mean, crushed as the brain.
Yeah, my fear is that if they remade it now,
it would be way too stylized. It wouldn't be. Yeah, it would need to be a first one made for $400,000 again. Like it only works that way.
And part of it too is like, yes, we knew who Joseph Gordon-Levitt was, but not this Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And then everybody else are unknowns. If you get too many people who have already, like, if it's basically like the cast of Euphoria and Stranger Things and Brick, it just doesn't work.
100%. 100%. You can't have those pre-relationships.
I think we should talk about the Lock Martin Award for the most useless part of the movie. Joey, what do you got?
Yeah. So, Tug's walk was in the running, but, and I understand that there was a budget. I understand that there's reasons for everything, but I think we could, we talk so much about the really clever use of the camera to kind of hide the violence a little bit. The Emily dummy that Brendan carries,
oh my God,
is just terrible. It looks like a hay doll. It's just like, it's not the right size. It's way shorter and way wider than this. She's a tall, skinny girl. They made this short, wide thing. Like, come on, man, shoot it from further away. Nobody would have noticed. It was just too close, and I was it was the only time I was out of it.
That is a phenomenal choice. I mean, I marked it, but I didn't think about it for this. But goddamn, that's really good. I think so. Mine has to do with Assistant VP Truman, and mostly like, okay, you've just had a conversation with a student, and like a day later, a missing student's body is found who has a known connection to this kid. Like, where are the police? Like, what is happening? And it kind of leads, I mean, it kind of leads into like, when we find out like oh yeah, 10 people were shot, and Tug shot his way out and shot. Like, there's a lot that gets wrapped up really fast at the end. Like, Tug and Penn are dead, but we're not going to worry about that right now. But yeah, the the lack of direct police involvement when I think it could have actually been implemented. Yeah,
it could have used some adults. Or no adults, or like a cop or two, just being like, "Hey, Brendan, what's up?"
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. Lock Martin.
But yours is good. The dummy was fantastic. That made me laugh. I love a fake dummy. I love it so much. There's a great one in Shaft where I think Shaft kicks somebody out of his window, and it's clearly a dummy. It's so good. I cannot recommend it enough. Man, Joey, are there any unsaid Brick thoughts? Have you ever stolen drugs and then cut it bad? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm gotta do things right.
Yes, 100% pure, or it's nothing. Yeah,
gotta make that cash.
Okay, well then, I think I guess it's question time, and important to note, I guess, that no Rian Johnson movie is in the book, so I guess we'll see what happens here at the end. So, Joey, do you think Brick should be in the book of 1,001 movies you must see before you die?
So it's tough because I think Rian Johnson deserves to be in the book, and it's, how many times are we saying that he should be in? But I think, yes, I think this belongs in it, because I do think it's, there's so many different neo-noirs made, but I think doing it contemporary with the past, doing it in high school, doing it the way they did it with Joseph Gordon-Levitt in every scene, as a first movie, I absolutely think it belongs in the book. I also think Knives Out does. So, I guess, it's a different conversation, but I'm saying he deserves 2 in the book. But right now, that's not what we're asking. But that was kind of my pull. But I think, yes, it belongs in the book.
So do you have anything to take out to put it in?
You could take out Gus Van Sant's elephant.
It's just going to keep doing.
Well, I picked on MASH for like 6 months, so I had to. This one is more appropriate, at least.
Don't get me wrong. So yeah, I don't disagree with getting that out of the book in any way, shape, or form. That's very funny. So I definitely agree. I mean, I do think that I think in another world, or like, in some version, like if Rian Johnson only gets one in, it probably ends up being Knives Out. It's more technically proficient. He's got the bigger cast. He's getting to do a little bit more, but I do think that there's so much going on here, and it's not just like what he could do with the budget, but like just what he could do in general. Like it's a great movie. It's shot really well. So yes, I also think the movie should be in the book. And I wish I had a better answer than what I have. The truth is that I just there are a ton of noir in the book, and I have not seen them all. But and I don't want to Humphrey Bogart wasn't our most nuanced or charismatic actor. I love Casablanca. I will never shit on that movie. I think it's a goddamn masterpiece. Yes. But he's pretty similar in a lot of stuff. So I would venture to say, outside of the Maltese Falcon, which we also dunk on from time to time, that there is probably a Humphrey Bogart film that could come out. I don't have a name right now. I will report back later with a different Bogart film. But I have a feeling there's one that can come out in place of
I would
Brick.
think so.
So that was Brick. Thank you for listening. I know we didn't have Britt to maybe keep us in check, but she'll be back next time. I assure you. So find us in all the places where you listen to podcasts. You can see us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all those great places. Find us on all of the socials. We're there. We'll contact. We'll interact with you. And coming up next, I believe, is a Britt pick.
Yes, not me.
A movie called Daisies. Do you know anything about the movie? Daisies is next. Safe actually comes before this.
Oh, I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for that.
The release order will go Safe, Brick, Daisies.
Whew, because I'm very ready for Safe.
No,
Daisies,
it's all good.
Yes, Daisies is coming.
I don't know what it is. I have no idea. It'll be cool Criterion cover. That's all I know.
Very cool Criterion cover.
Yep. But I think that's all we got for today. So until next time, I'm Adam.
And I'm Joey.
And we will see you for Daisies.